Hello and welcome back to my channel, CPTSD and Spirituality. This is Starshine. Here we also talk about healing holistically, and we like to utilize the CPTSD instead of that label that we could potentially attach to and live with that as kind of a no getting out of it type thing. We call it consciously practicing tools and strategies daily. I'm going to apologize for being off for several days and not making a video. I am going through cancer diagnosis, malignant melanoma. I also just received on Monday a second diagnosis of basal cell carcinoma. And of course, I've talked a little bit about that. I am taking a holistic approach to all of my diagnoses at this time. And somehow, some way, I'm going to be able to find a way to document that and share with people so they can potentially learn also, or just be, you know, find out what's going on over here. And what's working, what's not. I'm just trying to find a way to get that available to my viewers without being censored, because it's controversial to mainstream establishment and Western medicine and those things that have a hold on our society. So with that being said, I want to move on. That's not been the only reason I haven't been on. I have 6 children, and they are ranging from their young 20s up into their mid 30s. And of course, living with a mom who had CPTSD, undiagnosed, untreated, especially in their early years and beyond. They lived with me during some of my traumas. Of course, they are also experiencing their own as they grow. And sorry guys, this is just bothering me. As they grow and have their life experiences, as they leave the comfort of home and being cared for in their, you know, environment with their parents, they are, you know, having children and relationships, and they are experiencing their own new visits with anxiety, stress, you know, those things that come along with adulthood. And with the way that society programs, gotta move your head, baby. You can't be hitting mama's light and stand. You know, there's a lot of people, a lot of young people especially, who are, you know, kind of like expected to be 20 years old and know what we know in our 40s, 50s, you know, because life's a journey, and through that we acquire knowledge. And there seems to me that there's just been this, maybe a psyop, I want to say it, a psychological programming, maybe intentional, maybe not, around the parents and wisdom and elders and ancestry, and turning the young folk kind of against that. Maybe not so much that it's, you know, there's some people that I believe that move forward in life and stay stuck and closed-minded, and maybe that's it. You know, I'm sure that there's probably a plethora of reasons why the young people are feeling alone, abandoned, disgruntled, what have you. I'm trying not to be that person with my family. I'm trying to evolve, grow, change, heal. Wisdom is not, you know, wisdom and knowledge is power. And as I learn and develop things, I try to share with them. So, my youngest son, he's not a boy anymore, he's a grown man, but he's still young. He's just starting, you know, even though he's just starting And he's developing, you know, he's got children, and, you know, he's still a human with emotions and capacity to handle stress and environmental things. He ended up having a health issue, and he went and got a diagnosis of what was going on with his body, and it so happened to be a kidney stone. And he went and got some medications, and I'm not, you know, necessarily sure exactly what was the causation of the effect of what happened the days following. But I think my perception of what happened was that, you know, he did end up getting some medications that perhaps, you know, relaxed him to a point that it took the cap off the bottle of all of the fears and the emotions and things that he has been suppressing for quite some time. The stresses of moving out, getting new jobs, working with his family, other things like that. You know, having a relationship and still living in a parental type home, to where, you know, we all know right now that there's a housing, you know, it's harder for the young people right now to go out and have everything and buy a house or even rent. Our market around here is terrible. And so more and more kids or young people are kind of live, you know, in a situation where they can't really leave the home, even though they're feeling like they want to, feeling that they need to, that they should be. There's so much expectations put around that of this Western culture that has decided that, you know, we're not supposed to be a tribe. We're supposed to be individuals. We're supposed to be grown up. We're supposed to handle things on our own. And we have so much division of, oh, this is the right way. This is the right way. You're not doing the right way. I mean, I think everybody knows that we are the most divisive. We are divisive in religion and culture and all that, and which happens because we have the United States of America, which is the most diverse group of people trying to learn how to coexist, and egotistical, my way's the only way, my religion's the only one. So these young people are having such a hard time. And I think that's really what happened with my son is, you know, he got overwhelmed. His health, probably for the first time in his life, was challenged. I mean, he's had some issues where he's, you know, like hurt himself in play and you know, things like that. But somehow, some way, it really caused his mental state, you know, fears to come forth, repressed emotions to come forth, and all of that. And he stayed with me for several days, which I'm so grateful for. I am grateful that I got to a point to where with one of my children, I hope that someday I can get there with all of them, can, you know, look at me as I've grown through their lives and how I have reached spaces in my life of getting diagnoses and then taking matters into my own hands and what works for me, what doesn't, trying new things, leaving careers that no longer was sitting with my highest and greatest good, because when you have complex post-traumatic stress disorder, and especially as young as I received it, there wasn't a lot of therapies wrapped around it, not a lot of science wrapped around it. Raised in a Western Christian type environment, and never really being able to explore outside modalities like yoga, like learning about the chakras, how peaceful, you know, meditation can be. I wasn't able to really explore those things until I got out of that, and also left, dropped that fear of judgment that people pleasing that I was doing for my family, to belong into my family that were strictly religious, who thought that maybe I was going down a path. Their intentions may have been good and worrisome, but I chose my own path. I chose to go explore things that potentially could help me have a better alignment with life, with peace, with abundance, choices, finding out there's so many choices, and shed fears and things like that. So, I'm grateful that for some of my children, they got to experience that growth and see me go through that and change and see the effects that it has on me now as a human, as a parent, as a grandparent. Of course, we'll get into some more conversations, I'm sure, over time of the effects on the other children, probably the older, I shouldn't say probably, my older children. Because for one, another thing is I gave birth to my first child a month after I turned 15. So I have a range of growing up with children and then becoming a mentally, emotionally matured or maturing human for the younger ones. So I will be able to talk about lots of things. But back to, the reminder, I guess, for this video is the importance of supporting people when they are experiencing a moment to where they're overwhelmed with life, where, providing them empathy, compassion, understanding as an elder in their life. Don't be afraid to talk about your experiences. Another thing, he asked a lot of questions. I answered questions. In all of this, I'm also learning about things because we talked about, like why his questions was, why am I here? Why is this happening to me? And then I, delved into, anxiety in a mother or father, in the eugenics of that, the, shared DNA. Those things can be passed forward. Thankfully, it's only a 30% chance when it comes to anxiety and things that could be a side effect or symptom of a trauma or a unhappy, unhealthy, toxic relationship or environment growing up. It's only 30%. That's really great because it's not like, 100% you're going to have anxiety, you're going to have these things. But being mindful to share this wisdom and then helping them create the tools and strategies that are needed into their environment so that they don't have the lifelong survival mode, the fight or flight, getting to the point where they're so suppressive and trying to be quote unquote normal, and they have a break. Getting them prepared for what it, and as life has its own stresses, but you are in control of how you react to it. You're in control of how your environment supports you. Just because, you come from that doesn't mean you have to stay in that. And, the wisdom to know that we have choices, we can make changes, that, pursuing the knowledge needed to cope with daily life, getting into a space with your higher self. So we have, it was a struggle for my son, and it hurt me deeply to see that in him, but I'm so grateful for the wisdom that I've gained over these years to be able to give him the tools that he needed. And, I hope that if any of you are watching this and you have these experiences and you have children, I'm sure there's going to be many videos going forward of what it's like to be a parent, what it's like to parent children with the side effects of your parenting, and being able to kind of like reflect on things and see them with empathy and compassion, and see the, you know, if they're open to it, of course, you know, like I said, we'll go into more. Some choose to alienate, some choose to be estranged, some choose to delve into with curiosity how to, you know, or just to be open, to be willing to help others, help your children especially, because there's this, the old, you know, we'll get into this sometime too, there's an old saying, you know, if you heal you, you are also healing 7 generations in front of you and 7 generations behind you. And I take that very, very seriously because of my experiences and my environment when I was younger, and the effects that it's had on me to this day at 48 years old, that I don't want that for, you know, I don't want that for my children and grandchildren. And I have, I am saddened, and I have empathy and compassion for the generations before me that had to go through the traumas of life, and help that, you know, and I just hope that we get to a point where more and more of us are talking about this and working through this with our families and other people. So thank you for coming to my channel. I am going to do my best to be showing up some more and working towards a way to get to a point where I can start really sharing this cancer journey and healing journey, in hopes that, you know, as we go along, you know, maybe this would help somebody else. It's not just, this channel is just not about healing traumas. It's healing, you know, other things too. I'm really big into holistically healing, and I can't wait to share all that with everybody. And thank you for understanding that I needed to take a few days off and take care of my family. I will see you again soon.